Well, how much do you feel this football team's best football is ahead of them right now?
Well, I think, I think it is. I think we've been through a lot of highs and a lot of lows this year already, and I think that, we're very close from turning a corner and getting over the hump. I think we have a young team, and we've done a lot of growing this year. We have some younger guys that are playing a lot of ball, so that only helps. But I definitely think, it's ahead of us. I think we've played some good ball so far, but, I think the consistency piece is going to continue to grow for us, and I think it's right around the corner.
Well, Mahomes, after the game, told Sean Payton, "You got one," when talking about you as a quarterback. What's it mean to get that type of compliment from Mahomes?
Well, I mean, that kind of stuff is awesome. That's, fortunate part of playing the game and competing against these, the guys that have been doing it on the stage for so long. And, it's an honor, but at the same time, those are the games that you got to continue to play and continue to compete in and ultimately win. And you get guys like that, their respect. And then when you get their respect, it's just kind of it's a special thing for you. It's not something to be complacent about, but it's definitely you feel like you're on the right track and you're doing the right things.
How much interaction did you have with Mahomes on Sunday?
Just briefly before and after.
And then another question on that game. I mean, you've been growing every week, but how much maybe did you grow even more with a hostile crowd and having to lead that late drive, which you guys were successful at, until the field was?
Yeah, I think, those first scoring drives were really good for us. Going, driving the field on a really good defense is tough in this league, and we were able to do it a few times. Missed a few other opportunities throughout the game to extend that lead, and then when we, had to have a drive there at the end, we didn't know we were going to take all that time. We wanted to just go down there and get points, but when you look up and it's a 2-minute drill and you've gotten, all the way down the field, you just got to continue to finish and take some more time off the clock so that they don't get the ball back. But it's one of those drives that you can't really practice. That's just an experience thing that happens in a game that you only experience in the game, which is you can't. There's no replacing it. Like that's just very valuable in that situation. So it's good that some of us young guys and our offense were put in that position and we responded well.
Some of your teammates talked about how confident you are in the huddle and then relaying the play calls. So when you're having that role, is that something you're mindful of, or is that something that comes more naturally just with your personality?
Well, I think it's both. I think it it naturally happens and it occurs, but at the same time, it's because you prepare and you put yourself in that state, and you don't really have a choice. You got 10 other guys looking at you, and it's their livelihood, it's their life that you got it literally in your hands. The ball's being snapped to you, so it's a pride thing. You got to take pride in the things that puts you in that position, and the guys around you. You got to have, ultimately have their respect, and you got to know that it means a lot. And then, you just let competitive nature take over, and you just go out there and do it.
Sean mentioned you showed you guys some of these clips of tough losses he suffered during his career. What's your role this week in helping the guys move past this one and turn your attention toward Atlanta?
Well, it's huge, and you play this game long enough, you're going to have those ultimately the moments and the games that you look back on, and sometimes they're the more negative ones that you remember. And but I thought he said something very special today. Is if we went over the good ones, we'd be here all day, because you can't lose track of the good moments that have happened in the practices and in the off season, in the season, and there's so many more good moments that happen, and sometimes perspective. You got to look at those more than you look at the negative ones, even though they may, hurt and linger for a while. You just kind of have to move past them and learn from them, and, ultimately put your mind on the good and try to get back to the good.
When you have a particularly tough loss, is the process of trying to get over it and move past it any different, or do you go about it the same way?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Right, as soon as that game ended, and we were going in the locker room, I was on to the next one, and I couldn't wait to get back on the field and play again. So that's really my mindset right now, and. We come out here to practice, and everybody's got that mindset. Just kind of we're a little bit ticked off with how it ended, as rightfully so. We all hate losing. We got a competitive team. We didn't like how it ended, so we want to make sure that we avoid that at all costs moving forward. But we're all excited to get back to Sunday.
Well, with the end of that game, Alex Forsythe maybe better than anyone on this team. respond these past couple of days, and have you had a conversation with him since you're so close with him?
So I think it's very unfortunate, very unfair that, ultimately a play comes down to, one moment and the light or, something, people can say that it falls under one person. And nobody prepares like Alex Forsyth prepares. Nobody goes through the moments throughout the week and gets every set and every look that he possibly can and go out there and put his team in the best possible spot. And I think it's unfair that, unfortunately, it's the game we play, and all of our mistakes are on national TV and everyone sees them. And, there's a lot of, negative talk when somebody messes up, but I think it's, I think it should be known how valuable he is to our team, how much he is respected throughout our locker room. And it really, it ticks me off that people can, say those things about him and not even see how he works or how he responds or how he plays. And I have no doubt that Alex Forsyth is going to respond, probably better than anybody in that situation. He cares more than anybody would in that situation. And I know every single one of our team, every single guy in our locker room believes in him, to move on and respond. And, what happened to him sucks. It really does. It's happened to many of us. And you just got to, unfortunately, get over it. And you got to find ways to move past it. And, he's mentally tough. He's been through, tougher life moments than probably any of us. And so he knows how to handle adversity. And I'm excited to see him grow and respond through this. And, I can't imagine, as much as he works throughout a week, how much more he's going to put on himself. But I respect him greatly. I hate that he's having to go through all this, but sometimes it's part of the game, and it is what we signed up for. But I'm happy to be on his team. I'm proud to call him a teammate, and I know he's going to respond really well.
Last week,
Last one, Troy.
you talked about embracing the challenge of that environment. Now you come back home and almost like a tipping point game when you're 500, and it feels like kind of that's that point where the season could go either way. How, in that regard, how important does this game feel? It feels like the last 3 weeks has been the biggest game of the season, but as the games shrink, does it feel even more important because it's at home against a good team and you're 5-5?
Well, I think, for me at least, and how I've seen, our team respond, every game we walk out to and prepare for is the next most important game, and the next one is going to be, even more important than that. But right now, what we have in front of us is, we have one game on Sunday that we have to go out there and perform and play well and compete at a high level. And, honestly, whether it's at home or on the road, it doesn't matter. The next one's just as important. Obviously we want to play well at home, and we want to, that needs to be a staple for this franchise, is playing good at home, but it's the next game. So whatever we have to do to go into this next game and prepare and, just give your teammates just a little bit more, and give this organization just a little bit more, so that we don't have to, go through what we did again Sunday, and we get these wins. And, it's a streak league, so you win one and you can build off of it, and you can continue to do that, and you never know how you'll shape up once it gets to the end of the season and you look up and you're making a good playoff run.